Hello, good morning to everyone. My name is Krystyna Siposova and I'm a sales manager at 3D Organon. It is our pleasure to support the ANZAHPE Festival in 2022 and its special 50th anniversary and to be part of this amazing event. Today I'm going to show you how 3D Organon shapes the future of medical and healthcare education globally through the use of immersive technologies. And by the end of the presentation, we believe that you will be inspired to start exploring new and more innovative ways and approaches to health professional education. So 3D Organon is the world's leading XR medical anatomy platform, which offers the possibility to learn, teach, and train in medical sciences and anatomy across virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality devices. And 3D Organon also runs on conventional devices like smartphones, laptops, tablets, and desktop computers. We were the first ones in the world to launch an anatomy application in virtual reality back in 2016. And since then, we've been adding new features, new functions, new content to make the platform as complete as possible. The founders of 3D Organon are both anatomy professors and medical professionals, and the whole content has been created by anatomists and professionals in the health and medical field. Uh, Currently, 3D Organon includes over 12,000 anatomical structures across 15 body systems. All the models are high detailed 3D models, unique models designed by us, by our team from scratch. So we have included in the app our own work. There is no other model that has been acquired from outside, outsourced, or our own unique anatomical models in the application. We won several awards in the last few years as a recognition for our work, and we are really proud of having this positive feedback from professionals. The content is highly educational and immersive, and it's based on research. The whole knowledge base has been translated into 16 languages, and we have the anatomy application with the widest selection of languages available on the market currently. So you can select the primary and secondary language and have them running simultaneously, which is very helpful if you have international students, international colleagues, patients. You can switch to another language and make the explanation or the learning process in your native language. So let's have a look at a few of the functions and features across different types of platforms. I prepared a short video so that you can have an idea of the content. Just have in mind that this is a visualization on a flat screen. To have the immersive experience, you have to put the headsets on and try the software by yourself. So hopefully you will be able to get some VR devices and you'll be able to get in touch with us. So we'll be happy to provide you with the free demo licenses so that you can explore the whole content in your own time. Okay, so 3D Organon Anatomy platform is compatible with the most popular operating systems such as Windows 10, macOS, and iOS and Android as well. And of course, we support the major VR brands that are available on the market. Um, if you start looking at the possibility to implement VR technologies in your activities, so the first step would be probably having a look at some appropriate VR hardware. There are two main categories of hardware devices, of VR devices. So there are the PC-powered VR headsets and standalone VR headsets. We support both of them. The PC-powered VR headsets have certain advantages. You need to use a VR-ready PC, so you will connect the headset to your computer. It will be using the GPU of the computer, and then the visualization of the graphics is superior compared to other VR devices. The disadvantage may be the fact that those headsets are a bit more expensive, and also the fact that you need a computer or a VR-ready laptop. So the most popular VR devices when it comes to PC-powered VR are HTC Vive Cosmos, Oculus Rift S, HTC Vive Pro, Valve Index. There are many VR devices on the market. So feel free to get in touch with us. If you need any advice, we will be happy to assist you with the most appropriate hardware choice, depending on your needs, requirements, and on the use case or your planned scenario. So we'll be happy to assist with that. And then the standalone VR headset. So we can have a look at this triangle here, the right bottom corner. So those are the most popular standalone VR devices. They are wireless, so you don't need any PC. There are no cables attached to those headsets, so they are portable, very practical, and more accessible. So you can probably start with those Oculus Quest 2 or Meta Quest 2. It's very popular among educational and healthcare institutions. There are some limitations when it comes to the Facebook accounts setup requirement. We do support alternative VR headsets, amazing HTC Vive Focus 3 solid VR device, and also the Pico Neo 3 headset. So feel free to explore those and get in touch with us if you need any further help. 3D Organon is running smoothly on all those VR devices you see in front of you. When it comes to the content of 3D Organon, I'll mention briefly what are the main features and functions so that you have a better idea. 3D Organon includes 15 body systems, and we have over 12,000 realistic anatomy structures within the application. There are a few approaches to anatomy within the app. So there is a system-based, topographic, and regional anatomy included. We have body actions with over 550 animations of muscles, joints, and organs. This year, we've launched the Ultrasound VR Simulator, which is a unique tool, one of its kind. We are the first ones in the world to launch an ultrasound VR simulation purely in virtual reality, and I will tell you more about it in the next slide. We have added new real-time sectioning tool, pathology, embryology, and cadaveric images. We have currently 18 microscopic anatomy models. There are histology slides will be added soon. The same applies to clinical imaging. There are USMLE style cases, so clinical anatomy questions, hundreds of questions that you can use for a self-assessment or evaluation of your students, peers, and colleagues. And then we have also very important instructional tools within the app. So there is a 3D painting tool, 2D painting, so you can draw, indicate to different structures. There is also a pain effect tool. You can take snapshots, make notes. You can save different kind of scenes in favorites folder, so then you are able to go back to that favorites section and access the already pre-configured scene by you. There are pathology tools such as tumor growth and bony spurs that allow you to simulate different pathologies within the app. This is really helpful. So you can imagine how the classical way of learning and training is shifting to new methodologies, to new possibilities where you are in VR and you can imagine it's like a virtual playground where you can literally do anything, play with the models, look at them from different angles, record study material, use so many tools in the 3D space, which is not possible with 2D materials. We have a new VR search tool available as well, and very important multi-user module where you can create multi-user sessions and deliver lectures or training online in real time. It can be a remote delivery or a physical delivery in the same space with other users connected in the same virtual room, which is quite unique, and the experience is really, really amazing. So we'll prompt you to try this. It's getting very popular lately to meet in different XR collaboration platforms and to create multi-user sessions. And 3D Organon has the multi-user within the app, so you don't have to use any external applications to meet with your colleagues, your peers from different parts of Australia, New Zealand, and different parts of the world. You can meet in the same platform and discuss anatomy and other related disciplines together at the same time. So I mentioned the ultrasound VR simulator, which is very unique because you don't need any physical objects, any extra equipment such as mannequins, anything else, just the VR headset and controllers. And then you have the 3D models in the application. So you'll be using the controller as a probe. You'll put the controller upside down, and you'll be passing the probe over the surface of the 3D models in VR, and you will have the ultrasound VR simulation window in front of you, plus the real-time cross-sections as well. The feeling of, of this experience is quite unique because there is no physical object, no resistance. So we have included a slight vibration in the controller so that you know where the surface of the model is located. And I'll show you a few more functionalities in the video, but just that you know, just last week we released new functions which are not in the video. We have included labeling, color mapping, and also annotations for the ultrasound VR simulator to make it even more educational. So let's have a look together. So I hope you liked what we've just seen. I'm always so amazed when I see this video, and even more when I have the immersive experience, and I am able to perform the simulation in virtual reality. So I hope you can try this soon as well. I wanted to show you a few more features that we have added in the 2022 edition. Those are some new microscopic anatomy models, such as the multipolar neuron, the eukaryotic cell, and the eye model. The eye model has plenty of tiny structures, it's very detailed. All the microscopic anatomy models are full thickness 3D models. You are able to disassemble those microscopic models as well, and they are really helpful in the teaching and learning process. We also refactored all the body actions in the app for even smoother performance. I just put here a few examples so that you can see how the animations look like. We have the lateral flexion of thoracic spine here, the rectus abdominis muscle, and the heart contraction, the inner view of the heart contraction here. You can manipulate the models while they are in motion. You can rotate them, move up and down, zoom in and out. You can walk around them, look at these structures and the movements from different angles. And you can also stop the animation at the desired position, and you can further explain the anatomy of the particular joint or muscle. It's really amazing. Again, you are seeing this on the flat screen, but once you have the model in front of you in virtual reality, the experience is very unique. So after seeing all these features and functions, you may be asking, okay, but why should I start using XR technologies? So I wanted to just point out a few of the benefits and advantages that are coming with the implementation of XR technologies. So the use of immersive technologies improves human performance by radically changing how we learn, how we train and perform. It also reduces costs when it comes to infrastructure. For instance, setting up an anatomy lab with cadavers and maintain this lab, it's very costly. Then when it comes to the equipment, you need mannequins that you use very often and you have to change them often. Educators and students' time employed in the teaching and learning process. So there are a lot of benefits when it comes to this cost reduction. It also solves limited access to cadaveric material. There are countries that, due to their religious or cultural beliefs, they don't have access to cadavers, or they are remote schools in remote areas where they also it's difficult for those schools to have anatomy labs with the cadavers. So being able to replicate the cadaveric dissection in a clean, safe environment, it's very valuable. So as I mentioned, it provides replicable and clean dissection demonstrations. You can repeat the same scene, the same simulation over and over again in a safe environment. It also improves knowledge retention. So when you are in VR, you are 100% focused on the content that is in front of you. There is zero distraction. You are not distracted by any external factors. It also helps you to improve your picture memory, being in virtual reality and being able to see the spatial relationships between different anatomical structure improves the learning process and has a totally different impact on learning. We have collected so many studies on this topic, and also studies actually where 3D Organon has been used. So feel free to get in touch with us and we'll be really happy to provide those studies so that you can have a look what other institutions are working on and the researches that they do with 3D Organon and other applications in virtual reality. It also facilitates the online or hybrid teaching modality. So you can deliver lectures in the classroom or remotely via the multi-user sessions. You can record study materials, upload this on intranet, and have this available for your students. So there are so many ways how you can use VR technologies, but the possibility to do online sessions with students, peers, or patients from all over the world, it's very, very unique and helpful. And being able to be in VR, it's already an amazing experience. It also gives a competitive advantage to educational and healthcare institutions. It's quite prestigious when you have a nice digital anatomy lab with resources such as dissection tables, virtual reality devices, and other tools, and if those tools are applied in the curriculum properly, it's a really great success. And of course, it responds to the needs of new generation students. Students are asking for this, and they are really demanding from the educators to start implementing innovative ways of teaching, because it's so important for them to be engaged and to get to have this learning process more entertaining, not only learning from books, but really we need to start looking forward and to start keep the pace with the advances of technologies in education especially. And also, I already mentioned the multi-user virtual classrooms, but lately we hear a lot about XR collaboration platforms. We hear a lot about Metaverse, AR smart glasses. So all this is coming and it's happening. I'm meeting with uh, health professionals and educators and students quite often in different XR collaboration platforms. There are so many of them right now. I can just suggest a few of them. You want to start looking at them because you can meet interesting people in those platforms from your field. Doesn't have to be just VR enthusiasts, but there are so many health professionals there, as I mentioned. So you can try with Skylect or Engage, AltSpace, Multiverse. There are several ones, and you can start meeting with people that they have a similar uh, interests and share experience and maybe gather some suggestions and ideas. So lately I jumped into VR, and I talked to several health professionals, and I visited a few XR collaboration platforms. And I wanted to just share with you what other educators and health professionals say about XR. So I met with Sandra. She's a renal nurse from one hospital from Victoria, from Australia. I met in with her in Multiverse lately, and she told me that she's creating her own VR space where she'll be able to give training in virtual reality to renal nurses and to patients who are on home dialysis, which is quite unique. So she has patients that are living in remote areas and they have to travel long distances for in high intensive courses. She can do this training in virtual reality. They can be comfortable in their homes. They can focus on 100% on the content that they have in front of you. There is no distraction, as I mentioned before. There is this possibility to eliminate the barriers such as long distance and costs as well. And of course, it's more engaging and more entertaining to train and learn in VR. She also said, and I really liked her vision, I hope the gold standard would become Wi-Fi access and standalone VR hardware to be immediately accessible at a ward level to nursing students, perhaps from a ward clinical nurse educator explaining a procedure, for example, using the microscopic model of the skin to explain where to place needles for subcutaneous injections. It's a really nice use case, and it comes from a health professional who was just on the XR collaboration platform, and I met with her just recently. Then we also have a really nice feedback from Rohan Yotwani, who is a physician. He's a surgeon and anesthesiologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital in the US. And he told us, thank you for helping me to become better at my job and to use the new generation technology. So what he's doing currently, he's in the process of deploying virtual reality for procedural education. So he's using VR to create curriculum for different kind of procedures that are very difficult to perform. And his main objective is to train residents to perform surgery and anesthesia safely by using virtual reality. He also told me that it's so expensive to organize training for residents, let's say a simulation day to take them to a operating room and organize one training of anesthesia. He told me that for 100 residents, it may cost over $200,000 just for one day, which is a very, very high cost. We can reduce the cost with virtual reality drastically. So those are just a few use cases. We have the nursing education, patient education, procedural learning and education. So there are so many other use cases, and I want to show you other most common use cases that 3D Organon offers. So you can use 3D Organon and other apps for small students or educators like teaching sessions during cadaveric dissections. This is an amazing setup. They have the um, cadaveric dissections on every table happening. Plus, there is the VR workstation setup so students can rotate and they can explore the anatomy prior or after the dissection and do a direct comparison between the ideal 3D models and the cadaveric structures, which is an amazing way of learning. There is another use case. It's a larger group teaching session led by an educator, where the educator is projecting the content to a bigger screen so that the others can see as well. 3D Organon is used for patient education. As I mentioned before, we have a nice visual scenario here so that you can imagine how it looks like. The doctor or the health professional can create a virtual space and have the patient and the parent in the same multi-user session and explain the pathology or the surgical procedure so that the patient can make a more informed decision, which is very important. There is a use case here, the multi-user session. The multi-user can be created in a physical place, so students can be all together, or your colleagues can be all together, or you can also join from different parts of the world and be in the same VR space. 3D Organon is also used for clinical skills. So we have here some physical examination workshops. You can again project the content to bigger screen, have several workstations set up with mannequins and virtual reality. It's a really nice way how you can complement the workshops with VR. More lately, or recently, it's very popular and is getting very common to have virtual reality devices available in the libraries, museums, or digital labs. So we have the setup here at the library. This is a really nice example how you can set up the workstation like in small rooms where you can have the PC powered VR or standalone VR devices available for the educators or students. They can go reserve the VR headset and explore different applications for the self-directed study. And also we have here another example of 3D Organon uh, being used for surgical planning, for example. So before you perform a surgical procedure and go to an operating theater, it's really nice to review the anatomy prior the surgical procedure. Okay, so I mentioned almost everything I wanted to show you, and I hope you had an interesting experience, that you learned something new. Um, Currently, we have over 300 educational and healthcare institutions using 3D Organon globally. And there are thousands of health professionals, educators, medical professionals using 3D Organon as well. And we hope you will join our community soon and you will be part of our big family. So thank you very much for your attention. Please get in touch with us. Visit our website 3dorganon.com, where you can request a free trial. It's a premium version where you can access the whole content of 3D Organon, and we will be really happy to assist you with the implementation process and with the whole journey from shifting from the classical way of learning and teaching towards the more innovative methods. I also wanted to mention that we are going to be at AMI 2022 conference in Lyon by the end of August. So if you are here, make sure you visit our booth and it will be a pleasure to meet you in person. And if you have any questions, we're gonna have a live Q&A session after this presentation. So please join the session. I'll be happy to answer to all your questions. Thank you very much for your attention and see you again next time. Bye bye. Okay, hello, good morning to everyone. We're gonna wait for a few questions to come in. Thank you for attending my presentation. I hope you had a really interesting experience, that did you learn something new, and that you were able to find out about new methodologies and new ways for teaching and learning human anatomy across different platforms and new VR devices. So there were a few questions coming in through during the presentation. I saw that you were asking whether you can get the trial to explore the application. So of course, please get in touch with us. We will provide you with the trial license, with the premium one, so you can access the whole platform and you can explore all the features and functions. And you can also use the application on any type of device. So if you don't have VR headsets available, so you can also try the application on your desktop computer or tablet or smartphone. So maybe on the PC is going to be easier for you. But if you really see that this is something that you want to start exploring further, and you would like to start implementing this and advocating for something new in your institution, or maybe in your health practice or with your students, so I will really suggest to get a VR device, virtual reality headset, because we were talking during the presentation, there are many of them, but you can get in touch with us and we will be happy to suggest the most suitable VR device depending on how would you like to use the software, like how would you like to use the VR solutions, and what type of setup you have, what your activities are, or how your lectures look like. So we always listen to your needs and your requirements, and then we customize the solution for you, not only when it comes to the software itself, but also we help with the hardware decision making, which is sometimes overwhelming. So let's have a look if there are any live questions coming in through this session. I'll have a look here in the chat. Feel free to ask. This is the space for you to ask me whatever you would like to learn about the platform, about us, about our services. I'm happy to reply. Okay, just to mention, I maybe mentioned this also during the presentation, that we are an Australian-based company. So we are in Australia. We are maybe close to your institution, to your health practice, to your hospital. So we can also make you a live visit and bring VR headsets with us, make you a live demonstration to see how your scenario, how your setup looks like. So we can also do that. We'll be really happy. But we also do, of course, we also do live demonstrations, but online using different platforms like Zoom or those 2D platforms. But also, if you have VR headsets, we are happy to meet in virtual reality and make a demonstration in VR. So this is even more unique. And in this way, you can also see how you would use the virtual reality solution when delivering a lecture or explaining a pathology or creating a course for your students, patients, residents. So we can test this live together in virtual reality. So yeah, feel free to reach out. You can visit our website. That's 3dorganon.com. Or you can also write us through email. I will always reply. So I'm Krystyna, and you can just write, hello, Krystyna, write anything you have in mind, ask anything you want. Okay. So there is a question from Julie. She's saying that this is new to me, but I'm curious to know about development of content for specialist level training, focus on procedures. Mm-hmm. So what we do, so we do not, for now, we have a tool for you to use so that you can develop a training, or you can develop a course, or use the VR content to be able to create, let's say, curriculum for procedural training. So those tools that you have, you can record videos, for example, so you can create lectures with those. You can simulate scenarios, simulate, even simulate procedures within the application. So there are so many instructional tools that you can use, like drawing tools, cutting tool. You can demonstrate pain, tumor growth, bony spurs. So there are many things that you can do as an instructor or as an educator. And then by recording the session, you can create a really nice content, study content in virtual reality if you create 360 degrees videos, or you can also record your screen and then you can share these videos with your students or others. So the idea is that you will use the models that we have inside of the application and all the tools, and that you will use those to then develop and further on that and create a curriculum. Yeah, so John Cornwall is asking, thank you for sending questions through. Are the body donors used to prepare the dissected specimens consented for specific use by your company, and specifically consenting to be used where the result is that they are used for commercial purpose? Okay, so the content, the models that we have within the applications are 3D models designed by us, and the graphic design, the 3D full thickness models are based on anatomy books and on classical anatomy content. So we, of course, we do not use specimens or cadaveric images as such to create the content. We do have content when it comes to cadaveric images within the applications, and those are cadaveric images from Stanford University, from their catalog, and we received, of course, consent not from the patients directly, but the university has consent, and we received the rights to be able to share these images within the application. It's for educational purposes. And then you can, of course, from our side, we don't have any restrictions. You can share, upload the materials, upload the videos. If it's for educational purposes, it's possible to share those without any problems with your students or live on the internet. So I hope I answered the question. We have just a few seconds left. What's the time here? 3 minutes left. Okay, so if there are any questions, do you have the ability to create VR immersive experiences for staff to be interactive with the patient? For example, a nursing student staff interacting with the patient post-operatively. More about the caring process rather than an anatomical interaction. Tori, okay, thank you, Tori, for the question. Interaction. So yeah, this is a difficult question. Let me go through it again. Ability to create VR experience for staff with the patient post-operatively. Yes, so there's a possibility to create a content, to record a video or to record a session for the patient, or even the patient can have the VR experience without the need of observing the just recording session. About care, so the educator or the nurse can show, for example, how the procedure went, which areas were touched, where the incision was made. So you can just, maybe it's more educational to explain more about the procedure from the anatomy perspective. When it comes to like post-operation, there might be some use cases, maybe for some rehabilitation. There are some animations in there, so you can show how the patient can rehabilitate after the operation. So there are a few use cases that the patient can use and then can be applied for patient education. I see it more from this perspective, like rehabilitation, and then also going backwards and having a look how the procedure went, and maybe just to educate the patient a bit more about it. So that's the use case that you could use. But the best would be to try the application, to be inside of the app, to experience it yourself, to try all the features and functions, and then you will see how many use cases and how many possibilities the application can give you for your specific purposes. So thank you for everyone attending this session. Please don't forget to get in touch with us and to get the trial for your preferred device and start your journey with the virtual reality. We will be happy to guide you through this journey. Thank you very much and have a beautiful rest of the conference. Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.